He's a real can-do person. He's probably the hardest worker I've ever met in my life.
There's no end to Stan's giving and working for his people. He truly loves them. He truly serves them.
He has worked many years for our people, and he loves our people, and he loves his friends too. But he is good to everybody, and he's someone that everyone has a trust for. But he's really been a guiding light to this tribe.
He did lead the tribe into where we're at now, where we have this economic development going on now. He was very instrumental in that.
Stan Jones Sr. is the longest-running Tulalip Tribe's board member. He has served 44 years on the Tulalip Tribe's board of directors. First elected in 1966, Stan Jones has spent his entire life serving his people, protecting Native American culture and heritage, and ensuring a prosperous future for generations to come. After a lifetime of service, Stan has decided to retire to spend time with his wife Joanne and his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Tonight, join me as we honor a good friend, Stan Jones, and pay tribute to the countless accomplishments and contributions he has made to his tribe, his community, and the nation.
Stan was one of the leaders when this gaming opportunity came about, and I basically had to say I have no idea, but I liked the idea. So that was my introduction to the direction that Stan was taking us, which has been a phenomenal growth for our tribe.
Stan Jones has been a bridge between Tulalip's past and its future. He has been a catalyst for positive change throughout Native America. He has adopted traditional values to modern life. He has used his knowledge of tribal history, business sense, and love of his people to protect his culture and create economic opportunity for future generations. Stan hails from the Tuktuk-Wolos, the Owl clan, from a long ancestry of warriors who fought to preserve the Salish culture and traditions. A descendant of the Snohomish, Skykomish, Squaxin, Snoqualmie, Scho-Hallem, Stokwali tribes, Stan was born during a time of hardship on the reservation. Opportunities and hope were hard to come by in those days, but Stan rose above the suffering to find the value of hard work, perseverance, and importance of family and friendship. As a boy, Stan was separated from his family and forced to go to the Cushman boarding school and hospital, where he met prejudice and the threat of assimilation, but refused to lose sight of his culture and heritage. During World War II, Stan volunteered at 17 and served bravely in the Marine Corps Tank Division. After the atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Stan found himself part of the American occupation force in the wake of Japan's surrender. His patrols over radioactive ground would later cost Stan his vision in one eye and lead to a lifetime battle with tumors in his legs. Once again, Stan witnessed hardship and suffering. He saw starving citizens, sometimes orphan children, picking through the trash looking for scraps of food. Stan shared his rations with the hungry, never seeing a former enemy but a human being in need. After the war, Stan returned to Tulalip, where he married his soulmate Joanne, and together they raised a family. He pursued many opportunities, always looking to make a better life for his family. He was one of the first Tulalip gill knitters, a logger, a truck driver, longshoreman, and an electrician, but his most important job was that of a leader. Stan was given the Indian name Scho-Hallem, which means #1 warrior. Stan has always been a warrior, fighting for his people, fighting for treaty rights, and fighting for opportunities for his tribe and a bright future for the generations to come.
But I'll tell you what, there's very few people that have given a consistent, long-standing track record like Stanley Jones. Probably one of the most significant elements of Stanley's leadership is his demeanor. He is a nice man, he is a gentleman, but you know what, don't cross him, because he's a warrior too.
Serving 26 of his 44 years as chairman, Stan has seen tribal government grow from a time when there were only 3 employees and few opportunities to the current era of over 3,500 employees and multi-million-dollar ventures.
If it wasn't for Stan, we may not be at this level right now.
He has that drive to get it done. He's a real can-do person, and you know, all for the benefit of his people. He has really made a mark in Tulalip history, and he's been a very fine example of how to get things done, and you know, no backward steps about it.
Stan had the vision to stimulate economic growth for Tulalip. The revenue has allowed the tribe to purchase back land, secure jobs, provide education and health care for tribal members, and ensure a prosperous future for generations to come.
He said, you need to keep moving forward. We can't stop. We can't stop, and we can't take a step back. We need to move forward.
But I'll tell you for one thing, the degree of success that has been reached by the Tulalip tribes has been reached because of Stan Jones and others he has been able to bring to the table and simply say, we are going to build something for the future together.
Quilceda Village is a true source of pride for Stan, as it is the realization of the vision and the dreams of past board members. Unique in that it is the only city owned by a tribe, Quilceda Village tapped into the thriving commerce of the I-5 corridor. Stan's leadership continued through his services as the president of the 3-member Quilceda City Council. Stan's accomplishments and contributions aren't limited to only economic development. He has been a driving force behind the protection of the environment and the preservation of the salmon. Tulalip has always been a fishing tribe, and as a fisherman himself, Stan knew that upholding the tribe's treaty rights to fishing was of the utmost importance. Stan was one of the many dedicated tribal leaders instrumental in ensuring that Tulalip rights were honored in the Bolt decision that restored and protected native fishing rights.
When the Bolt decision was first decided, and it was clear that that decision, as later historians have said, was the most important decision of the 20th century for tribes, that there would be a need to continue to work on it for some time. There's a lot of controversy. And Stan understood that just having one case say, yes, you have treaty rights, wasn't going to be the end of it, that there would continue to be battles.
He battled in the courts for long months, working through countless negotiations, fighting tirelessly for what was right and what was sacred to his tribe. His devotion to his heritage and love of culture moved Stan to help revive the first salmon ceremony. Remembering it from his youth, he knew he had to make sure that such a valuable cultural experience was not lost for future generations. He worked with tribal elders to reintroduce the ceremony to Tulalip, and now the ceremony that honors the king salmon, the Yobach, has once again become a yearly event, preserving it for generations to come.
I believe Stan's involvement in the salmon ceremony started before it even got revived. Harriet Shelton Dover saw something in Stan and asked him to help participate in bringing back a ceremony that had been lost. Stan's involvement early as a leader was instrumental in us still carrying out the salmon ceremony today. Stan took it upon himself to make sure that everything was written down and the songs were recorded in a way that could be passed on for generations and generations.
Over his extensive career, Stan has met and worked with many notable figures and heads of state, from U.S. senators and congressmen to the President of China. He was active on the national level of tribal politics, which led to him serving as an advisor to 3 presidents. President Bill Clinton looked to Stan to help him secure the Native vote.
As governor of the state of Washington, it's been an honor to work with Stan Jones on numerous important issues. For nearly half a century, Stan has guided the Tulalip tribes on issues ranging from treaty fishing rights to economic development. His tireless efforts to protect the environment, expand economic opportunities, and plan for the future have not only benefited the Tulalip people, but all those who call Washington their home. His leadership, wisdom, and integrity are an inspiration to us all.
Experienced as a negotiator, his knowledge of treaty rights and his unquestionable character made him an obvious choice to chair the newly formed National Indian Gaming Task Force in the mid-'80s. Stan toured across Indian country educating other tribes about the benefits of tribal gaming. Stan helped negotiate the first compact between a tribe and the state of Washington. He testified before the Senate many times, educating officials about the benefits of casinos for tribes. Through tough negotiation and commitment to his values and ideals, Stan helped pave the way for the Tulalip Resort and Casino, as well as many of the other tribal casinos in the state and the nation.
His dedication to treaty preservation and the rights that belong to the Indian people, and not a stronger person in the Indian community than Stan Jones as far as standing up for treaty rights. There's no compromise in his mind, you know, for what we've given up and what we've retained for ourselves. There's no going backwards on treaty rights with Stan, and myself and the others that are involved, we learned that very quick.
I think more than anything that if Stan decides this is the way it should be done, you know he is saying that because he believes it, and he believes it because he has thought about it and he has questioned not just you and others but himself as to whether this is in the best interests of the tribe and the community it might impact.
Throughout his life, many have honored Stan Jones for his contributions and accomplishments. In 2001, Stan was awarded the Wendell Chino Humanitarian Award by the National Indian Gaming Association. In 2007, he received the Tribal Gaming Visionary and Small Business Empowerment Award. And at NIGA this year, Stan received a Lifetime Achievement Award and was recognized by tribal leaders from across the country for everything he has done for Native America. However, many of the honors that Stan earned were not symbolized by an award, but to him they meant just as much. Stan threw out the first pitch at the Seattle Mariners Native American Day game and participated in the welcoming ceremonies of the Goodwill Games. He's traveled the world representing Tulalip and Indian country as a whole. On April 2nd, Stan served his final day on the Tulalip Board of Directors. Although he is now retired, I know Stan will continue to champion the rights of Native people and protect Tulalip's natural resources and cultural heritage. Through his work, Stan has left a legacy for Tulalip and all of Native America. Stan Jones is a modern-day warrior and a legend in our time. Have a happy retirement, Chief. You deserve it. I hope you have many long years ahead of you.